Here's a number that should stop every buyer and seller in their tracks right now. 75% of homes for sale in America right now are unaffordable to the average household. Not some homes, not most, 75%. That's straight from bank rate analysis on Yahoo Finance, published just this month. And it gets more specific. To afford a medium priced home right now, you just need to be earning, not just, you need to be earning around $113,000 a year. The median household income in the US is about $80,000 a year. That's a $33,000 gap. And that gap is exactly why people feel stuck. So, what does this mean for you? Whether you're trying to buy, sell, or just figure out what the heck is going on. And that's exactly what I'm going to break down today. I've got national data and I've got our local Phoenix MLS number, fresh pulled this morning, and we're going to compare them side by side so you can actually understand what's going on in the market. Let's get into it. Hey there, welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm Suri Atkins, and I am a real estate agent here in the Phoenix area. Every month, I pull data with the latest market information, not just national headlines, but our actual local Phoenix MLS numbers. And I break it down in plain English so you can make smart decisions about buying or selling. And this month, we have to talk about all of it. We'll be having some interesting things happening both nationally and right here in our backyard, and they are not the same story. That's what makes this month update worth your time. Real quick, before we jump in, if you're watching this and you're thinking about buying or selling in Phoenix, my contact information is in the description below. I've also have some links to a mortgage calculator so you can run your own numbers, and a home value estimator so you can see what your home might be worth in today's market. Zero obligation, just some useful tools for you to use. All right, let's get started at the national level. What's happening across the country, and then we'll zoom in on the Phoenix area and see how we can compare. All right, so let's get started. According to National Association of Realtors, or NAR, existing home sales increased 3.2% month over month in May 2026. That brought us to a seasonably adjusted annual rate of about 4.7 million homes sold. Now, is that a lot? Not really. For context, a healthy market is typically closer to 5 to 5.5 million. We'll start below where we like to be. This month, we have a lot to talk about. We have some interesting things happening both nationally and right here in our own backyard, and they are not the same story. That's what makes this month's update worth your time. Real quick, before we jump in, if you're watching this and you're thinking about buying or selling in Phoenix, my contact information is in the description below. I also have some links to a mortgage calculator so you can run your own numbers. I also have a home value estimator so you can see what your home might be worth in today's market. Zero obligation, just some useful tools. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so let's start with the national level and what's happening across the country, and then we'll zoom in later with Phoenix, and then we can compare. According to the National Association of Realtors, or NAR, existing home sales have increased 3.2% month over month in May 2026. That brought a seasonably adjusted annual rate of about 4.17 million homes sold. Now, is that a lot? Not really. For context, a healthy market is typically closer to 5.5 million. So we're still below where we would like to be, but the trend is moving in the right direction, which is encouraging. Home prices at record highs. Here's where it gets interesting. NAR reported the national median existing home sales price is at $429,300 in May. That's a 1.3% increase year over year. And here's the kicker. That makes 35 consecutive months year over year price increases. Redfin actually went further. They reported the median home price hit a record 894 during a 4 weeks ending June 7th. So prices still going up, slowly, but up. Here's the tension in the market right now. Even though sales ticked up, Redfin reported pending home sales dropped 0.6% for the 4th straight week as of that same mid-June report. 4 weeks in a row of declining pending sales. What does that tell us? If the buyers are interested, they're looking, but they're hesitating at the finish line. And when we look at it, it makes complete sense. When we go back to the slide that we started with, a bank rate analysis covered by Yahoo Finance found the typical household earning around $80,000 a year, which is roughly the median U.S. household income, cannot afford a medium-priced home. You need to be earning closer to $113,000 a year to comfortably afford a $435,000 home in today's rates. That is a $33,000 gap that most families earn, and what they need to buy for a medium-priced home. That's a real problem. And that's not a Phoenix problem or a California problem. That is a national problem. So the good news is inventory is proving. NAR reported 1.55 million units of housing inventory in May, up 3.3% from April and up slightly year over year. That represents 4.5 months supply. For reference, a balanced market is generally considered 5 to 6 months of supply. So we're getting closer, but we're still slightly seller favorable territory nationally, though that's shifting. The National Affordability Index also improved to 105.6, up from 97.5 a year ago. Anything above 100 means the medium income household can technically qualify for the medium priced home. But as we just talked about, that's a very thin margin. Mortgage rates sat at 6.44% for a 30-year fixed rate in May of 2026. Up a tick from 6.33% in April, but meaningfully down from 6.82% a year ago. Redfin is forecasting rates will average 6.3% for all of 2026. So rates are slowly coming down, and that does help, but they're not coming down fast enough to dramatically change affordability overnight. Now, Redfin put out their 2026 outlook and they called it the Great Housing Reset. And I actually think they have a pretty accurate description of what we're in. Their big prediction have home sales will rise about 3% from 2025, reaching around 4.2 million annually. Home prices will go up about 1% year over year. So real appreciation is slowing and rents will rise 2 to 3% as more people stay in apartments because they can't afford to buy. They're also predicting more generational living. Families are doubling up because housing costs are forcing people to get creative. And they think AI tools will start playing a bigger role in how buyers are searching for homes. Thought that was interesting. Okay, now let's zoom in because the national data tells one story, but Phoenix has its own story happening, and you need to know both. I pulled our local Phoenix MLS data this morning for Maricopa County single family residential homes for the month of June 2026. Yes, I know we still have a few days left, but let's go through this. First, the big number is our median sold price in Phoenix is $513,500. Compare that to the national median price of $429,300. Phoenix is running about 84,000 above the national median price, so that's roughly 20% higher than the average American market. That's not new. Phoenix has typically been a higher cost market for the past few years now, but it is an important frame for everybody else we're going to be looking at. All right, so the average sold price is even higher, sitting at $731,907. That gap between medium and average tells us that some luxury and higher end sales is pulling the average up. So 4,022 homes sold in Maricopa County from June 1st through the 22nd. That's a healthy volume. But let's look at what's not selling because that is just as important. We have 15,833 homes currently active on the market. That is a significant amount of inventory, and we had another 4,533 new listings just come on in June. So supply is high. Buyers have options right now, more than they have had in a very long time. And let's talk about days on market. This isn't important for sellers to hear. The average days on market in Phoenix right now is 73 days, with the cumulative days on market is 77, which does count for relisted days. So this means the average home is sitting on the market for over 2 months before it sells. This is not frenzied market like it was in 2021, where homes were sitting or where homes were not sitting and they were going in 3 days. This is a more deliberate, patient market. If you are a seller and you're pricing your home based on 2021 expectations, this data is your wake-up call. Here's a number that sellers really need to pay attention to is the sale price to list price ratio in Phoenix. And it's currently 97.3%. And the sales price to original list price is 94.17%. And what does this mean in plain English? If you list your home for say $550,000 on average, you're selling it for around $517,000. You're giving up somewhere between 3% to 6% from where you started. That tells me two things. Buyers are negotiating and sellers who price it too high are having to come down. If you price it right out of the gate, you minimize that gap. If you chase the market with an aggressive price, you're going to end up chasing it down. Let's talk cancellations. Here's a number I want to flag that a lot of people overlook. We had 1,200 contracts that were canceled in Phoenix this month. And 1,200, that's not a small number. And cancellations typically happen for all kinds of reasons. Failed inspections, financing fell through, buyers got cold feet, sellers not agreeing with repairs. But when this number is elevated, it's usually a sign that either buyers are nervous or there's a disconnect between buyers and sellers' expectations. Given what we're seeing nationally with hesitations at the finish line, I like to say that this is tracking. And we have 2,206 homes under contract right now in pending status. This is a preview for next month's closings. 2,206 is a decent number, and it tells us buyers are still active, they're still writing contracts. The market isn't frozen, it's moving, it's just more slowly and more carefully than what it has been in the last few years. One more number worth mentioning. There are 507 homes temporarily off the market with a median list price of $575,000. And the extended and expired listing homes that timed out without selling have a medium price around $590 to $595 and have been sitting on average for 146 to 153 days. Those are almost certainly overpriced homes. The market is telling those sellers something and they aren't listening yet. Okay, so we've got all the data. Let's make this actionable, whether you're a buyer or a seller. Here's how I'd like to interpret what you are looking at. All right. If you are a buyer in Phoenix right now, this is generally one of the better times to be a buyer in Phoenix compared to the last 3 or 4 years. Not because it's cheap, but because you have leverage that you didn't have before. We have 15,000 plus homes to choose from. Sellers are negotiating. The average home is selling at 90 cents on the dollar. And some are coming down even further from the original asking price. You have time, 73 days on average before a home moves. That's time to think, that's time to talk to your family and do some research on neighborhoods, schools, etc. Yes, rates are still at 6.4%. That's not the 3%, but rates are slowly trending down. And here's the thing, if you wait for the perfect rate, you might be waiting for a while. Competition does build back up and you can always refinance later. When rates drop further, you can't go back in time and negotiate a 2024 price after demand picks back up. You marry the home, not the rate. If you are a seller in Phoenix, yes, you can sell, but you have to price strategically. The data doesn't lie. Homes that are overpriced are sitting for 146 plus days and eventually expiring. Homes priced correctly are selling about 73 days at about 97% of list. The days of throwing any price on a home and watching a bidding war materialize, that's not the market. The buyers are there. 2,200 homes pending contract proves that, but they're smart, they're patient, and they have options. My advice, price it right the first time, make the home show beautifully, and be prepared to negotiate on inspections. That's the win in this market. Nationally, the experts are aligned on one thing: slow normalization, not a crash, not a boom, not a gradual reset where prices inch up and modestly, rates inch down slowly, and inventory continues to build. For Phoenix specifically, we're a market that tends to move faster than the national average in both directions. We've got strong population growth, continued job market activity, and we're still a destination for people leaving higher cost of living states. But right now, the data is showing a U.S. market that is cooling to a healthy pace that actually is a good thing long term. All right, let's talk your June 2026 real estate market update. All right, that is your June 2026 real estate market update. Your national picture, your Phoenix MLS data, and what it means for buyers and sellers on the ground right now. I know that was a lot of information, so just let me give you a quick rundown of what we talked about. So the median sold price for Phoenix was $513,500. Active listings right now was 15,833. Average days on market are 73. Sales to list ratio is 97.3%. I can't talk. 30-year mortgage rate is 6.44%. If you are thinking about making a move to Phoenix, whether you're buying or selling, I'd love to help you. My contact information is in the description below. I've also linked a mortgage calculator, so if you want to run your payment scenarios, you can. I also have a home evaluation tool as well, so if you want to run a specific, or if you want to know what your home is worth, please use that information as well. No pressure, no pitch, just some information, because real estate decisions are informed decisions. If you find this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe button. I do monthly market updates every month. I drop. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe. If you want these monthly market updates, I drop them every month with fresh data just like this. I will see you next month with the July numbers. Until then, take care.